All right, let's dive into this Eagles loss that has every Philly fan tossing and turning. Because let's be honest, this one stings. Not just because it was the first loss of the season, but because of how it happened. Sloppy, undisciplined, frustrating. The kind of football that leaves you sitting in silence, staring at the wall at 2 in the morning, asking yourself what just happened. Now, yeah, we all knew the Eagles weren't going to go undefeated. No one actually believed that. Even with a perfect record coming into this game, there were signs. Little cracks showing up week after week. Whether it was the inconsistent offense, the penalties, or just that feeling of them playing with fire and somehow not getting burned. Until now. Because in this game against the Broncos, everything finally caught up. And the result? An ugly, completely avoidable loss at Lincoln Financial Field in Week 5. What makes it even more infuriating is that the Eagles weren't dominated from a jump. In fact, for 2.5 quarters, they looked pretty solid. Jalen Hurts was dealing. The offense had rhythm. The defense was flying around. For 3 full quarters, that defense held the Broncos to just 3 points. They didn't even let Denver step into the red zone until late in the game. That should be more than enough for this team to walk out with a win. But then, it all unraveled. Fast. The moment things started to turn, you could feel it. The offense went stale. Dead silent. No energy. No urgency. And it wasn't just one or two things. It was a cascade of issues. Poor execution. Lack of discipline. Bad penalties. Miscommunication. You name it, it showed up. And the Broncos, credit to them, took full advantage. They adjusted. Switched from man to zone. Confused the Eagles at the line of scrimmage. Showed blitz, then backed off into coverage. It was smart football, and Philly had no answer for it. After that wheel route touchdown from Saquon Barkley, 47 yards of beauty, the offense just vanished. 0 points on the final 5 drives. They averaged just under 3 yards per play. Only 3 first downs. That's not just bad. That's collapse-level bad. That's a team running out of gas in the final quarter and hoping someone else comes to save them. But no one did. Not this time. And look, Jalen Hurts didn't play poorly. He actually played really well. Threw for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 23 passes, and had a quarterback rating just above 100. He made big-time throws down the field. He looked confident. He looked sharp. But unfortunately, those plays get erased in the loss. No one's going to talk about that rope to Devon Smith for 52 yards. No one's going to praise the red zone out route to Goddard that was delivered perfectly. All of that gets buried because what people will remember is how the team imploded late. And those penalties? Brutal. Backbreaking. You had Saquon scoring early, then becoming an afterthought the rest of the way. Just 6 carries. 6. That's unacceptable, especially when the Eagles had the lead for a good portion of this game. When you're ahead, you feed your back. You control the clock. Instead, it felt like they panicked, tried to force-feed the passing game, and completely abandoned the run. And while it's easy to point at the coaching staff for that, you also have to consider the context. Denver started loading the box, showing pressure, dropping back in his zone, and for whatever reason, the Eagles still couldn't adjust. They looked lost out there in the 4th quarter. It's frustrating, man, because this isn't just a one-off. These issues, they've been lingering all season. Lack of rhythm on offense, struggles in the red zone, pre-snap confusion, and now, add to that a growing inability to handle zone defenses. It's like opposing teams have the blueprint, and Philly still hasn't figured out how to tear it up. You can see it in the body language. You can see it on the sidelines. There's this cloud of frustration. Wide receivers are clearly unhappy. There's pressure on the staff to keep guys like A.J. Brown and Devon Smith involved. And yes, they both put up numbers today, but it wasn't efficient. It didn't lead to sustained drives. It didn't lead to points when they mattered most. And it came at the cost of balance. That run-pass identity that used to be the foundation of this team, it's not there right now. And if they don't find it soon, they're going to have a hard time beating anyone, not just teams like the Broncos. What hurts the most is how beatable Denver was. This wasn't some dominant offensive performance by the Broncos. They just stayed patient, waited for Philly to make mistakes. And boy, did they ever. 18 fourth-quarter points. The Eagles' defense, which had been stout all game, just ran out of gas. because the offense couldn't stay on the field. And that's what happens in football. One side collapses, and the other side gets exposed. That fourth quarter, though, it's going to live in the film room all week. Coaches, players, everyone's going to have to face it. You had drive-killing penalties, players not lined up properly, motion confusion, ineligible man downfield on a key RPO. Those aren't talent issues. Those are mental. Those are preparation. And they're 100% avoidable. This isn't a young team. This isn't a rebuilding year. These are veterans making rookie mistakes, and it's costing them. And here's where it really went off the rails. Eagles had a 2nd and 1 at the Denver 48. Hurts hits Devonta for 8 yards. They're moving. They're in enemy territory. Momentum's on their side. And then flag. Ineligible player downfield. Setback. Instead of first down, they're backed up. They stall. They fail on 3rd down. Then, on 4th and 4, they convert again. Another clutch throw from Hurts to Smith. A laser. Crowd going wild. And guess what? Another flag. This time, it's Saquon not being set after going in motion. Delay in getting lined up. Play wiped out. Drive dead. You can't do that. Not in the fourth quarter. Not on the road. Not when you're trying to protect an undefeated record. That's losing football, and it's becoming a pattern. Then came the defense collapse. Tired legs. Missed tackles. Another dumb penalty. This time, a personal foul on Zach Bond for finishing a play without hearing the whistle. Again, borderline call? Maybe. But still, it adds up. And in crunch time, all of these small mistakes snowball. By the time Denver kicked that late field goal to go up by 4, you already knew. The Eagles couldn't settle for 3 anymore. They needed 6. And with the way the offense had been sputtering, that felt impossible. So yeah, a lot of fans want to talk about the refs. Want to blame the officiating. And sure, there were some questionable calls. But that's not the story here. The story is the Eagles beat themselves. Again and again. On nearly every crucial drive late in the game. They didn't play smart football. They didn't play disciplined football. And you can't do that in this league and expect to win. This wasn't about talent. Philly had more talent than Denver. This was about execution, focus, and coaching. It was about the little things, timing, communication, situational awareness. All the details championship teams are supposed to master. And right now, this team doesn't look like it's mastered anything. And that's why this loss is going to linger. Not because of the score, not even because it was the first one of the season, but because of how careless it all felt. Like this team hasn't learned from the warning signs that were flashing over the past few weeks. And if they don't wake up fast, more losses like this are coming. Let's talk about that fourth quarter sequence, because that's where everything completely fell apart for Philadelphia. The Eagles were leading by a point, they had the ball, and all they needed to do was finish a drive. Even a field goal there changes the tone of the final few minutes. Instead, they went backward. The 2nd and 1 play at Denver's 48-yard line looked like it was going to be the spark. Jalen Hurts read the defense, delivered a clean pass to Devonta Smith, and it should have been a new set of downs, maybe more if they kept the pace. But then the flag came. Tyler Steen, ineligible man downfield. It's an RPO. It's a timing thing. It's been an issue before, and it showed up again at the worst time. That mistake isn't about physical ability. That's mental. That's communication. That's coaching. And after that penalty, the drive stalled. 3 plays later, they were forced into a 4th and 4, and once again, Hurts delivered. He threw a dart to Smith, converting a massive play that would have put the Eagles in range to take the lead again. And again, a penalty wipes it out. This time, it was on Saquon Barkley. He had gone in motion with plenty of time on the clock, but never got fully set before the snap. A legal shift. 5 more yards. Another crucial play gone. Another self-inflicted wound. These aren't freak accidents. These are repeated mental lapses from a team that's supposed to be past this phase. You look at these moments, and it's clear that this team doesn't lack talent. They lack execution. There is no excuse for this kind of sloppiness, especially from a group that played in the Super Bowl less than a year ago. It's not about not having the ability. It's about not showing the discipline. And when a margin of error is razor thin in this league, these details decide games. After punting the ball away, the defense had a chance to get a stop, but it was already gassed. That offense leaving them stranded for 5 straight drives had taken its toll. The Broncos went to work. They converted one third down, then came up short on the next. It should have been 4th and 1 at the 28. There was still over 2 minutes on the clock. The Eagles would have had a real chance to get the ball back, maybe even with decent field position. But once again, another penalty. This time it was Zach Bond, who had been playing great football this year, making a costly error. He hit R.J. Harvey late during a tackle attempt that should have ended the play. It was close. Some might say he was just trying to finish it. But in today's NFL, that's a flag. 15 yards. Automatic first down. More clock burned. And now Denver was in complete control. By the time the Broncos kicked their final field goal to go up by 4, there was no room left for error. A field goal wouldn't help. The Eagles needed a touchdown. And with the offense sputtering, with no rhythm, no identity, no momentum, it felt like a miracle would be needed. And that miracle never came. The final minutes felt like a formality. A team that had started off with energy, confidence, and control now looked completely disjointed, disconnected. They were out of answers. The execution was gone. The timing was off. They didn't look like a team that believed they could put together a game-winning drive. And that's maybe the scariest part of all. Because again, you go back to Jalen Hurts. He wasn't the problem. He threw the ball well. He stayed poised in the pocket. He made the reads. But he had no help. Not from the play calling. Not from the offensive line. And definitely not from the lack of discipline around him. And when you got a quarterback giving you a performance like that against one of the top defenses in the NFL, it should be enough. It has to be enough. But when everything else falls apart around him, there's only so much one guy can do. And it wasn't just the penalties. It was the play calling, the lack of urgency, the inability to adjust. Denver switched to a zone-heavy look in the second half, and the Eagles had no idea how to beat it. They kept running the same concepts. They kept trying to force the same plays. It felt like there was no counterpunch, no creativity, no plan B. And at some point, you start asking, what exactly is the identity of this offense? Last season, this team had balance. They could hit you with the run, wear you down physically, and then beat you deep with the pass. They had variety. They had unpredictability. This year, it feels like they're chasing stats instead of wins. It feels like the offense is being built to keep players happy instead of doing what's most effective. Saquon Barkley gets 6 carries in a game where you led for most of the second half. That's not just questionable. That's inexcusable. And you hear it in the post-game comments. Players admitting they're making dumb mistakes. Coaches saying it's on them. Talking about accountability. Talking about how they need to fix it. But that's not new. Those quotes have been recycled for 5 straight weeks. At some point, saying the right things doesn't mean anything if the product on the field keeps looking the same. Nick Sirianni has made discipline a priority since he arrived. He talks about mastering the things that don't require talent. Pre-snap awareness, proper alignment, situational football. Yet this team, 5 weeks in, looks like it's learning those things from scratch. And it's not just one area. It's across the board. Pre-snap infractions, clock mismanagement, personnel confusion. This isn't who the Eagles were supposed to be. And what's more frustrating is that they've been getting away with it. For 4 weeks, they dodged the consequences. They played close games. They squeaked by. They got lucky. But now, that luck ran out. And when that happens, you find out exactly where you stand. You find out how real your issues are. And right now, they're real. Very real. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what is quickly becoming the hottest topic in NFL circles today, whispers have turned into outright speculation after the league reportedly announced the cancellation of the much-anticipated matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Denver Broncos. Sources close to team insiders suggest that the decision came as a shock to fans and analysts alike, sparking feverish debate across social media and sports networks. No official reason has been publicly confirmed beyond the brief announcement, but rumors are already swirling about potential behind-the-scenes conflicts, player availability, or even logistical hurdles that could have forced the NFL's hand. Fans who had already booked flights and tickets are left scrambling, while pundits speculate on the ripple effects this could have on the playoff race. Some are even hinting that the cancellation could be linked to a late-breaking injury or health concern affecting key players, names that, if sidelined, could shift the balance of power in both conferences. Others suggest that operational issues, perhaps related to stadium readiness or unforeseen scheduling conflicts, might have triggered what many are calling a historic disruption to the league calendar. In locker rooms across the league, whispers are growing louder. Players, coaches, and insiders are reportedly exchanging private messages, trying to piece together what this cancellation means not just for the teams involved, but for the NFL as a whole. Fans of both franchises have taken to Twitter in droves, posting a mix of frustration, disbelief, and wild theories. Memes are circulating, ranging from joking references to conspiracy theories to somber reflections on the sudden void in the season schedule. While the league has promised a more detailed statement soon, sports analysts are already speculating about potential rescheduling, financial implications, and how this might affect fantasy football leagues. Could this cancellation mark the beginning of a trend, or is it simply an unprecedented one-off? For now, all eyes remain glued to any breaking news, as the NFL community waits with bated breath to see if the Eagles and Broncos will ever clash on the field this season, or if this is a game that will live forever in rumor and speculation. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.